See.
So I know people are going to filter in. I've got to get over to my president-elect, but I wanted to come over here and I wanted to personally introduce David. David and I have become very good friends with his wife Peggy. There are 500. Yeah, we're working on it. Once the bar opens, we get better.
Yeah, right.
There are 536 district governors worldwide. There's about 35 in zones 24 and 32 that we are. And we met in Toronto. We became very good friends. Our families get together. I called David up because you're going to really enjoy this Transforming Your Rotary Club, not just because he's my friend, but because he does very well. And I thought personally that I should come here and do the introductions.
You the man.
And in case you heard over there, I didn't want to give you a dust collector. You've got plenty of those. So the Candy Man has something sweet for you, and you can bring it back to Peggy and share.
Oh, that's real. I'll give it to her. She can eat all that.
So I want to thank you so very much for doing it. I know you're going to enjoy all this.
Thank you very much. Let's give our DG-elect Hey along. Cool. All right, here's the deal. All right, everybody come on in. We're going to get rolling. This is going to be a really condensed version of about a 5-hour program, okay?
That's the way I like them.
So, how many of you heard the word transformation? Yeah, it's become a hot word. It's the word. You can change your whole life if you buy a Chevy these days. If you buy the right perfume, you can transform your relationship. The word transform has really come out these days in an extraordinary way, and it's really a popular marketing word now. So I got a couple questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your Rotary Club doing? 1 being not so good and 10 being absolutely extraordinary. So let's just go around real quick. You're going to be in the splash zone, okay? Because we got a limited amount of time. So you know what that means? I'm going to pick on you guys, all right? Steve, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your club doing?
9.
9. Who's next? Yes, ma'am.
She's in my club. And she's a newbie too.
So how's your club doing?
She's only a 2-month Rotary.
So Steve says it's 9, it's 9.
It's 9, okay. Beating out you good too. Just go around. I'm down that row real quick.
Another 9.
Another 9. Oh, this is good.
Because I go 5.
5? Okay. 5?
8.
8. Sounds good.
9.3.
Ken, 9. There's always 1, isn't there?
Is there? Yeah.
I gotta put that decimal in there. Go ahead. 7. 7. Sweet.
9.
9.
I said 10.
10. Okay. Is that fun? 10. 9. Sounds good. 5. 2. Want to keep going? Just yell out at there. Yes.
That was me.
Oh, that was you. 2. Okay. Who else?
7.
7. The reason I like this question is because it really quickly quantifies. Some people say, well, in what category? Well, just overall. You know, don't worry about what category. If you want to have some fun when you go home tonight, ask your spouse, how's our relationship going, dear, on a scale of 1 to 10? Let me know how that goes for you, okay? So that's really good. I get that. And so that's pretty cool. The other question I really like is, feel free to take notes on this, because this is a powerful conversation. I'm giving you 2.5 hours at best. But this methodology of asking these questions, I probably have conversations with people about 5 times a day, and they're really based around transforming their world, and this is the beginning of that. Many people will say, I'll say, how's your life going on a scale of 1 to 10? And then I shut up. I really shut up, because it lets people think about it. And I've heard 1s, I've heard 3s, I've heard 5s, I've heard 7s, I've heard 10s. On average, when I ask a Rotary Club or members of a Rotary Club this question, it averages about a 7. Okay, and that's pretty good in today's world, really. So the other question I asked real quick, and it's the second question in the series, is what's working? And there's a lot of things that's working great in our clubs, but let's just name a few as to what that is. Like, what's working in your club, Ken?
Well, lately we've been getting younger members.
Stand up so everybody can hear you.
Okay. Lately we've been getting younger members.
Yeah. Okay, so membership, younger members is going well?
Younger members, and it's helping out.
Okay, good. Salvador?
I think what's working for us is we're building a great team, a great bench, a great bunch of leaders that are kind of coming up through the ranks.
Okay.
So we have a lot of new members with a lot of energy.
Good. Michael?
I'm actually in the same group as Sal, but I think it's a fun group. It's enjoyable meetings.
Fun. I like that. How many of you had that 5-way test, which is the last one is Let's having fun. Okay, that's coming up pretty good. Good. Okay, good. So you're having fun. We said membership earlier. Let me capture that. Who else would like to share? Steve?
You know, we do great service projects.
Service. Thank you very much. What's your best service project?
We have a monthly mobile meals that we do. It's a great chance to serve some folks who can't get out of the house. And it's a chance that every Wednesday morning at 10:45, we get 10 to 12 Rotarians together to do that. And they have fun driving around together and packing the food. And it just creates great camaraderie.
Cool. Bruce, what's working for your club?
Fundraising is good.
Fundraising, all right. How much do you guys make a year, roughly?
30,000.
That's pretty good. How big's your club?
We've got about 30 members.
30. That's really good. Very good. Walter?
Making a difference locally, in the local community.
Making a difference. That's super. So what's the biggest difference you made?
Well, it kind of goes back to projects and service that you do, but it's bringing, I'll give you quick two examples. One,
Okay.
a project where we get to recognize every student that makes the honor roll in the school system in the city of New Brunswick.
Wow.
Okay?
That's extraordinary.
And we've just started a ability to partner Costco with the soup kitchen and taking, I call it the food rescue program, taking over produce that they would dispose of because the bag ripped and transferring it to someone to feed the homeless in the city of New Brunswick.
Wow. Can we acknowledge Walter and his company? Marlene, what's working in your club? What's working in your club? Marla, sorry.
Oh, I would say our projects are phenomenal. There's
Okay.
so many of them.
Service?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Who else would like to just throw something in there that's working really well? Daniel?
Rich and I were just discussing, it's really our fundraising projects.
Fundraising. Okay, you captured that. That's good, that's good. And you could probably, again, have this conversation at a club assembly really quick. I mean, everybody likes to talk really well about what's working well. I mean, no matter the size of our clubs, whether they're 10 or 6 or 20 or 50, there's always things that are going well in our Rotary clubs. And it's really important to capture that because you want to acknowledge the great stuff that people's doing. The number one thing that people crave more than anything else is appreciation and acknowledgement. So make sure, for those of you, who's going to be president next year? Have we got any president-elects in here? Oh, that's right. They're all over there. Charlie's young. That's right. Yeah. So, you know, anytime in your clubs, set aside an agenda if it's not being done now for every club meeting. Find a way to acknowledge what's going well in your clubs because people just want to feel good about themselves, and we all crave acknowledgement and appreciation more than anything else. Okay. So let's talk about what's not working, just in case there's a couple things that might not be working. What does that look like? I'm going to go into the back of the room and work forward now. In all honesty, what's not working well, John?
We are our grandfather's club.
Meaning, why is that not working?
We have people, a majority of our club that don't want to change.
Oh, change is not working. Does nobody else is having that issue in their clubs?
No, we're having that issue.
Can we acknowledge John, by the way, for his presentation again today? All right, so change is not working. Got it. What else?
Engaging all of our members. We have a club of 51 members, and not all of them show up as much as we'd like them to, but also I don't think we have a large enough percentage of our club members who really get involved.
Okay, engagement is an issue. Anybody else having that as an issue that's not working as well? Ken?
That was basically the same. I think some of our people have been a member a long time. As they get older, they figure, I did my part. I'm going to sit back now and let everybody else do the work. Not their turn.
Right. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah. It's always your turn.
Okay. Okay. We'll come to that point in a minute. All right. What else is not working? What else just, you wish you would do better at? Yes.
With the changing demographics, I'm not sure that we're as representative of the community. And then the makeup of it. The town I mentioned is now 40% Hispanic. Okay?
Okay.
But we really don't have a means of reaching them. And so you can pick your club and go ethnic, female, male, whatever you want to put in there.
Yeah, okay, I get that. So diversity, not what you would like to represent, representative of the community. Yeah, good point. And that's, geez, did I just see on the news yesterday, speaking of diversity, that how many of you are here would consider yourselves baby boomers? Yeah, most of the gray hair I see out there, yeah, like me. So we are now in the minority, by the way. I saw them, did anybody see last night? The millennial generation has now surpassed us. God,
we're in trouble.
That's good.
Listen. One of the things that isn't working in our club right now is really the chairs and getting people to take on positions within the Rotary Club itself. So we end up having constant repeat people, and that's something that needs to change.
May I call that leader? Not, yeah, I'm going to call it leadership.
Club involvement.
Involvement, okay, I got it. Expand upon that more, because that's an often a common situation.
We're a small club right now. We're probably up to about 16 members.
Yep.
Of which we have at least 12 members that have not taken a position on the board.
Yep.
Out of about 16, so that means the same 6 people are doing the board work each and every year.
Sure.
And it's trying to get these people into board positions and into the different positions within the club itself.
Yeah.
So that's just going to take time to work it out.
Got it. One more. What's not working? Pardon?
Growth is a problem with our club.
Growth? Oh, you mean like membership growth?
Membership growth.
Oh, okay.
We're very small.
We just said that was working really well over here.
We've got the opposite problem.
Yeah.
And because we're so small and there's so few of us, it's very hard for us to reach out to the larger community and connect with people on a meaningful scale.
Right, exactly. Notice the tenor of that conversation that we just had on that question. Because when we were talking about this, hey, life is good. You know, we're 9s and 10s and all that over here, and life's good. But when you kind of look at yourself a little closer under that magnifying glass, and we all kind of hate to look in the mirror because we don't necessarily like what we see, you know, this is kind of what this comes out. And the tenor of this kind of conversation is different. Some may be defensive when you ask this question about what's not working because they like to think everything's working really well. But it gets back to a little bit about transforming your club, is to really take an introspection around what's not working. And we all have things that are not working. We have things that are not working in our lives. We have things that are not working in our business. And it's just important to really sit down and make an assessment of that. Be positive about what's working and, you know, rate yourself a little bit if you want. So here's the next magic question. It's my most favorite question in the world. And that is, what's missing? And the reason I ask that question is because there's nothing wrong with our Rotary clubs. You don't want to put people in a negative environment, and you don't want to say, well, geez, you're wrong by any means. All of our Rotary clubs, I don't care how big they are, or how small they are, or what they're doing, you know, even though there's things that are not working, there's nothing wrong with our Rotary clubs. There's just some things that are missing that if we put them in place, we would be able to take the things that are not working and move them over here to the what's working category. Okay? Let me say that again. There's just some things that are missing that if you could take, if they were put in place, take them from not working to working. Example, membership. I had a conversation with a club last week and I said, well, who's your membership chair? They said, our club's not growing, we're stagnant, yada, yada, yada. I said, well, who's your membership chair? Well, we don't have one. Oh, well, okay. So if we got somebody who is responsible for membership, geez, it's amazing what could happen just by taking that thing that's missing, putting it in place, and it moves over there from not working to working. So as you think about this, I mean, let's just talk about the things we said here. Change. I mean, what's missing in terms of trying to bring change to your club? What comes to mind?
We had a board meeting last night in which we discussed this very topic. And one of the things that came up for us was that we need to more clearly define the board member responsibilities. We have a board, and there's a lot of ambiguity about who has what responsibility. We thought it would attract more people and also spread the work more fairly if each board member had a defined responsibility.
Yeah, okay. So that just requires some action to define that and then bring everybody together to reach a common understanding. I like the word alignment. Have you ever heard of the word alignment? Okay. The word alignment is a great word because it doesn't mean we're going to vote about stuff and the majority rules and all like that. It means eventually we're all pulling the oars in the same direction. We all agree where we're going together and we're all aligned. We're not running around one direction and these people are going the other direction. We're just all very much aligned as to what that looks like. So when you reach a consensus or an alignment around what are the board's responsibilities, then it's amazing how things go pretty smoothly that way, right? What else comes to mind in terms of what's missing in your club possibly? Yes, sir?
Community awareness.
Oh, okay. Elaborate a little bit on that.
We do a lot for the community. We do a rubber ducky race, a 5K run. We just had a fishing derby, Christmas tree festival. And it's just getting the word out to the community without spending a fortune in advertising. Because the newspapers just, they may put a little blurb in, but really getting the word out of the events going on, and then we need people helping and people can get involved.
Got it. When you said community awareness, what I heard was you were not aware of what the needs were in your community. What you're saying is the community is not aware of what we have to offer.
We're bringing to them.
Yeah, got it. So how do you, let's talk about that conversation. Because everything we do really evolves from a conversation between at least two people. We start with ideas, somebody shares that idea with somebody else. You know, today's world of conversations, I don't know about you, but my millennial son, you know, it's tough to get him in a conversation. I can capture him in a text, you know, but to have a conversation, even when he's present in my home, sometimes is a challenge, and he lives out in Denver. Anyway, so conversations are important in what we're doing. So how do you have a conversation with the community about Rotary?
Well, I think in the events that you run is to partner with a community organization. Whether it's the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, or something. So once you get another community group involved, and you get the parents and the things and all those folks, then it's automatically going to have the synergy of the two organizations working together. It's going to make it much easier for the community to be aware, because they'll say, "Hey, the Boy Scouts are doing something with Rotary," and now automatically that's going to, you know, put a light bulb out there for the community to know.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the concept of a community needs assessment? That's bringing most of the leaders in your community together and having a conversation around what's going on in their world. In the world of membership, the first question you ask somebody if you're trying to recruit a member, this is a really crash course, but what's the first question you have when you're trying to engage a member as a possible member of Rotary? The answer?
Great question.
Pardon me?
That's a great question.
I'll tell you the quick answer. What's going on in your world? Okay? We are so quick to sell. We tell them all about our features and benefits, to put it in sales lingo. The first question out of your mouth is, what's going on in your world? And then you shut up and listen. And the reason why is because you have no idea what's going on in their world, what they're interested in, how Rotary relates to them. We always are trying to sell Rotary and the values and we don't really know what these people value in return. So when you talk to somebody in a 5-minute conversation, really just say, "Hey, what's going on in your world?" And then you listen. It's amazing what you can find out. And once you understand what's important to that individual, no matter what their age or what their background is, you will find that out. And from that, then you can relate all that we have to them that will fit into their values that they have, whether it's kids, whether it's work. You've been amazed about how many people want to make a difference in their community. But I encourage you to, first of all, just ask that simple question, what's going on in your world? It's a powerful question. Okay, real quick. What else is missing real quick?
New member education.
Education?
Orientation, education.
Okay. All right, so obviously we can put member orientation in that. And again, I'm not trying to make us all experts here, but what I am trying to show you is the flow of the conversation to have with your club members. This kind of a conversation will transform people's lives. Do you know what transformation really means? Transformation, if you'd like to capture this, is creating future possibilities without the constraints of the past. I got to repeat that several times because you can take some thought. Creating future possibilities without the constraints of the past. You know, so many of the conversations we have are about what's already happened. In fact, 90% of our conversations are about what's already happened. Have you ever heard the term, well, that's not the way we used to do it? Of course. But we are really good about talking about what's happened. So when you're trying to create a future possibility, it takes a real skill to take the conversation around from what happened to what's going to happen. Okay? Creating future possibilities. Consider the possibility of ... Consider the possibility of creating a new playground. Consider the possibility of starting up a new food cupboard. Creating the possibility of starting a new senior center. The words, consider the possibility of ... is another really powerful conversation that you can have. It changes people's minds from what's already occurred, whether it's good or bad, to the future. So when you talk about transforming a Rotary Club, consider the possibility, consider the future possibility of making a difference in somebody's life in some way. I got stopped for a traffic ticket the other day. Well, it's been about 6 months actually. And I had this marvelous conversation with the officer who pulled me over. I was doing 25 miles over the speed limit in this slow area. So the first question when he came up to the car was, you know, show me your driver's license and all that. And I said, tell me what's going on in your world. And it was an amazing conversation. I found out that they had gotten new funding. They were really trying to step up their enforcement, yada, yada, yada. I found out how many kids he's got, how long he's been on the force, yada, yada, yada. I got into his world. And then towards the end of that conversation we had, I said, would you consider the possibility of just giving me a warning? And yes.
Did you get it to join?
No. He did come to the club, however, to give us a presentation as a result of that small conversation. So, no, that's a good question. No, I didn't. But the words consider the possibility of can really change. Huh?
Did you get the ticket?
I got it reduced below.
Okay.
And I didn't get any points, so that was okay. I was happy with that. Yeah. So transforming your Rotary Club is about creating future possibilities without constraining the past, constraining yourself by the past. And it's not that you forget the past, it's just you don't want to be constrained by it. You want to start out with, in essence, a blank sheet of paper. When I teach pets, you know, I teach the president-elects coming in. I said, feel free to start with that blank sheet of paper to create an extraordinary year for your club. Don't forget what's happened, take it into appreciation. Just don't let it constrain you like that. Yes, sir?
Responsibility growing the club.
Pardon me?
Responsibility of a member to recruit other members.
Exactly. Responsibility of a member to grow your club. In a 5-hour session that I'll send you a form that you can fill out because Charlie's asking for you all to consider the possibility of bringing this program to you all. But one of the things that we'll talk about in there is the responsibility of your members. What's generally missing as you go through this conversation of what's working, what's not working, etc., and what's missing is, what's generally missing, there's two things that's generally missing, is first of all, responsibility. So when you say, why is our club struggling? Well, it's generally because the members have not stepped up to the responsibility of fulfilling the motto of Rotary International, which is service above self. Let's all say that together. Service above self. That's the game we're in, folks. You know, we're in the game of service above self. We're in the game of making a difference in people's lives. And so when we ask ourselves, are we really being responsible around fulfilling that motto? Sometimes the answer is maybe not as much as we should be. Okay? And that leads back to integrity. Because fundamentally it's around the whole concept of integrity, around how well we truly are committed to fulfilling that motto. You know, integrity we define as brain cramp. Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do. Okay? Just simply keeping your word. Doing what you say you're going to do, doing it when you say you're going to do it, and doing it in a way that people expect of you. Again, keeping your word, and it's difficult to do in today's world a little bit. Doing what you say you're going to do, doing it when you say you're going to do it, and doing it in the way people expect of you. And be willing to be held accountable for it. And that's where it sometimes falls down. We all are out of integrity with what we say we're going to do. My wife asked me to do something, and I don't do it. And I'm out of integrity with giving her my word that I said I was going to do this. And she holds me accountable for it. And I hate being held, we all hate being held accountable, okay? It's really difficult for us. But when you really think about it and you're willing to be held accountable for your own behaviors and your own personal integrity and the integrity of our organization that we got here, it's amazing how things really work smoothly. So when you're out of integrity, not if when you're out of integrity, but when you're out of integrity with yourself and what you said, own up to it. Every time all of us are out of integrity, whether it's in our relationships or our organization or our employment or whatever in our lives, there's an impact upon that. When you're just simply late to a meeting, it's a great example. I mean, the meeting starts at 8 o'clock. We're done at 6 o'clock almost. You know, there's an impact upon when you're out of integrity with what you say you're going to do. It impacts other people in ways that you may never know. So just being late to a meeting, let's say you got a meeting of 10 people and you're 10 minutes late, guess what? The impact of that little simple act is everybody's sitting around doing nothing for 10 minutes and it's not very productive. And you can think of a lot of other reasons for that as well. This kind of conversation really will change people's lives. It changed my daughter's life. My daughter was not having a very good marriage, okay, to be honest with you. So one day, and I was trying to be the supporting father for a year or so, etc., and it just wasn't working. You could see it from afar, but I didn't want to upset her and get her mad at me, yada, yada, yada. But there comes a point in time where you've got to have a conversation. And I asked her, how's your life for you on a scale of 1 to 10? She said, it's about a 3. And I said, well, so we went through the whole thing about what's working, what's not working, and what's missing. And we identified that there were things in her life with her husband that were not working. He was into painkillers and that kind of stuff. And their income was low, et cetera, et cetera. And so I said, well, you know, that's not working, right? There were some great things that were working. She was cranking some kids out, so that was a good thing, at least for her granddad anyway. But when you go through that kind of conversation, you just identify things that are missing, and you're willing to get in action around those things. So just because membership's missing doesn't mean that you shouldn't get in action. And every time you get in action, somebody's name's got to be associated with it. So really take your stand as to what you believe in. And when I say take a stand, it's like the Statue of Liberty. I mean, what's the Statue of Liberty? It's standing holding a book. I mean, what's the Statue of Liberty stand for? Freedom. Freedom. Right, exactly. When you take a stand in your family, or you take a stand in your organization, or you take a stand in Rotary, it's amazing how people will follow you once they understand where you're coming from. As long as you're within integrity with what you're doing, and you kind of go through this kind of a conversation. Take a stand for the greatness of your Rotary Club. If you're a Rotary Club of 10 people and you're not growing, take a stand. Look, we keep talking about what's missing. What's missing is our own personal integrity around fulfilling our motto of service above self. There's 2 ways that Rotary makes a difference in people's lives. The first one is all the millions of projects we do around the world. But the other way is getting somebody to join this organization. If Rotary has impacted your life, I'd like for you to raise your hand. Yeah. everybody, we could be here for the next 8 hours talking about how Rotary has impacted all of our lives, all of our families' lives, all the lives of people we don't even know. Membership is not about the survival of the organization. So much of the conversation around membership is internally focused. Growing members, it's about the survival of our clubs, the survival of our Rotary International. Change that conversation from an internally focused conversation to an externally focused conversation. When you walk up to Cecil, and I don't know him, but I know in a 5-minute conversation I can make a difference in his life forever. The lives of his family, the lives of his neighbors, the lives of his friends. And all I got to do is just say, hey, what's going on in your world? Right. And then when I understand what's going on in your world, I tell them about this marvelous organization called Rotary, and I just ask, would you like to make a difference in other people's lives? And everybody said yes to that one. Sure. How would you like to come to lunch, dinner, whatever? Or how would you like to come with me next week? We're picking up trash along Route 10 out there, and we're just going to spend about an hour, and then we're going to go to breakfast. That's all you got to do. Make it about the other person, okay? Make it about how you can impact their life in 5 minutes. You can change their life forever. Any questions? That's the crash course. Thank you for coming here. If you,